All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today we're unpacking a seriously moving piece of literature, Susan Hill's play On the Face of It. It's this masterful look at how one single unexpected conversation can completely flip a person's reality upside down. You know, we so often think of our physical circumstances as fixed, unchangeable facts that totally dictate our happiness. But this text, it challenges that idea brilliantly by focusing not on what happens to us, but on how we actually choose to look at it.
We're kicking things off with this explosive, frankly heartbreaking confession. When I look in the mirror and see it, I'm afraid of me. This comes from 14-year-old Derry, and it instantly throws us right into the immense emotional stakes of his intense self-hatred. See, Derry survived a terrible accident where acid burned one side of his face. But the real damage, it isn't just physical. That trauma has deeply, deeply infected his self-image. He doesn't just assume other people are afraid of him. He is fundamentally terrified of his own reflection.
Section 1. The Garden Encounter. A Clash of Worlds.
So, to really grasp how Derry's incredibly dark perspective starts to shift, we need to set the scene of this crucial first meeting. Derry, who is completely withdrawn and defensive, has snuck over a wall into what he thought was an empty garden, basically just looking for a place to isolate himself. But instead, he bumps into Mr. Lamb, an older man just sitting peacefully among his crab apples, and their body language says it all. Derry is startled, he's ready to bolt, totally assuming he's trespassing and about to be judged for how he looks. But Mr. Lamb? He is calm, seated, completely open, and simply warns the kid not to trip on the fallen fruit. It's an absolute masterclass in contrasting energies.
Section 2. The Weight of Scars. Physical versus emotional.
Now, what's super fascinating here is how the text carefully puts their physical impairments right up against the psychological walls they've built, or in Mr. Lamb's case, haven't built. It's a really powerful reminder of how we all get to choose how we frame our own vulnerabilities. On one side, we have Derry. He's got an acid-burned face, extreme social anxiety, and operates under the absolute certainty that everyone is repulsed by him. And then on the other side, we have Mr. Lamb. He literally lost his leg in the war and walks with a tin leg. Kids in the street literally call him Lamey Lamb. But look at his emotional state. He is entirely open to the world. He intentionally leaves his garden gate wide open for anyone to wander in. They both have severe physical traumas, but their emotional reactions couldn't be more opposite.
Just look at the language Derry uses here. It ate my face up. It ate me up. This is huge. Derry's acid burn isn't just an injury on his skin anymore. In his mind, the acid has consumed his entire identity. It ate him up. He honestly believes his life is permanently ruined and that his condition dictates an absolute, unchangeable misery. He has pretty much completely surrendered his internal life to his external appearance.
But check out how Mr. Lamb responds to this intense wave of self-pity. He doesn't coddle Derry. He doesn't offer him some hollow platitude. He just casually dismisses it with, "There's plenty of other things to stare at." He completely redirects Derry's focus. Instead of obsessing over a scarred face or a tin leg, Mr. Lamb points out that the world is vast and endlessly fascinating. It's filled with crab apples, spiders climbing silken ladders, and tall sunflowers just waiting to be noticed. He's actively, intentionally pulling Derry's gaze outward.
Section 3. Weeds versus flowers. The philosophy of the garden.
And that redirection leads us straight to the ideological core of their conversation. Mr. Lamb uses his own garden to challenge Derry's super-rigid worldview. He points out a patch of greenery, explaining that some people look at that plant and call it a weed, while others look at a different green plant and call it a beautiful flower. But biologically speaking, at their very essence, it's all just green, growing life.
And then he hits Derry, and honestly, us too, with this phenomenal question. Where's the difference? It's all life, growing, same as you and me. He's directly challenging the totally arbitrary labels that society assigns to things. I mean, why is one thing considered beautiful and another ugly? Why is a flower prized while a weed is destroyed when they are both just life expressing itself? He's trying to show this kid that being ugly is just a label. It's a human concept, not some definitive hard reality.
Derry, however, well, he is a deeply cynical 14-year-old, right? When Mr. Lamb brings up the idea of Beauty and the Beast, Derry immediately rejects the whole fairy tale trope. He knows the story, handsome as handsome does, a magical kiss transforms the beast into a prince. But Derry shuts it right down. He points out a harsh reality. In the real world, magic kisses do not fix acid burns. He insists that unlike the prince, his physical reality is permanent. As he puts it, I won't change.
Section 4. The Room of Fear. The Danger of Hiding.
Since Derry is completely convinced he can never change physically, he thinks his only real option is to just hide forever. And in response to this intense desire to isolate himself, Mr. Lamb offers a darkly humorous but absolutely vital anecdote. He tells Derry, "You could lock yourself up in a room and never leave it." There was a man who did that. He was afraid, you see.
Mr. Lamb lays out the extreme logic of this kind of total isolation. Basically, if you want to avoid all pain, you have to avoid all life. This man he's talking about hid from deadly germs, hid to make sure he wouldn't get kicked to death by a random donkey. He hid from lightning. He hid from the humiliation of slipping on a banana skin or the heartbreak of a girl leaving him. He locked his door, got into bed, and just stayed there to eliminate literally all possible risk from his existence.
And the brilliant punchline to all this ultimate paranoia, a picture fell off the wall, right onto his head, and killed him. It's so absurd and so perfectly timed that it actually makes the usually miserable Derry laugh out loud in the text. It proves an undeniable point. You simply cannot hide from life, and you certainly can't hide from death. Trying to do so only guarantees that you never truly live in the first place.
All of this realization builds right to the emotional climax of our explainer today. Derry is talking about hating people, and Mr. Lamb delivers this incredibly powerful piece of wisdom. That'd do you more harm than any bottle of acid. Acid only burns your face. You can burn yourself away inside. This is everything. This is the whole shebang. Mr. Lamb is warning Derry that holding on to hate, bitterness, and fear is infinitely more destructive than any physical disfigurement could ever be. You can survive a ruined face, but you cannot survive a ruined spirit.
Section 5. A change of mind. The final transformation.
So does Mr. Lamb's philosophy actually break through Derry's walls? Well, we see the incredible impact of this single afternoon when Derry runs home and has to face his overprotective mother. She commands him to stay hidden, to stay far away from the weird old man with the tin leg. But Derry pushes back with this amazing breakthrough. It's got nothing to do with my face and what I look like. It's what I think and feel and what I want to see and find out and hear. He completely defies her. He proves that his internal perspective has shifted entirely away from his physical scars. He finally realizes his worth is rooted in his mind and his curiosity, not in his outward appearance. At the very end of the play, Derry literally runs all the way back to the garden to help Mr. Lamb with those crab apples, proving he actually wants to participate in life. But I want to leave you with this final provocative question drawn directly from our analysis today. Will Derry eventually slip back into his old seclusion, or will Mr. Lamb's brief association affect a lasting change in the kind of life he leads in the future? When the world inevitably stares at him again, will he remember the weeds and the flowers? Will he remember to keep his own gate open? It's a wildly powerful thought to ponder about our own scars, physical or otherwise, and the walls we build around them. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.